Okay guys, good afternoon. Today we're going to be doing something slightly more different. We've noticed that some of our subscribers are actually from 14 to 18, I think. I'm gonna try to put the stats up, but then for that main purpose, so we're going to be doing some maths and science as well. We're going to be doing some maths and science, and obviously that's going to be a faceless part. You obviously do know us from the music reaction and unpopular opinion reactions as well. So today we're going to be looking at a prelim paper just to help these young ones in terms of how to conceptualize questions and know that these principles are applicable throughout. Okay, so we're going to start off with the table view prelim paper. It's a school in Cape Town. This is the prelim paper 2025. We're going to be looking at issue 1.2. As an easy, we're obviously looking at this is maths paper 1. And then basically the main purpose of this part of the channel is to help these young ones conceptualize and basically understand the terminology with mathematics, because most of the time it's not that they don't know necessarily grasp the theory, but just to understand. Okay, so we're going to start off by looking at question 1.1.2. okay, so question 1.2. okay, yeah, I'm gonna try write a little bit bigger. I think let me write a little bit bigger. Question 1.2. Now they tell you that AD is equal to BD, right? And AE is equal, so say consider the right angle triangle ABC below. BD is equal to 5. DE is equal to X, AC is equal to Y, right? So looking at that triangle, and then they tell us, so this is obviously equal to 5. Okay, and then what else? And then they say AE is equal to EC. A is equal to EC. And then basically, and last thing, AC is equal to Y. Okay, so having said that, what we now need to look at, what are they basically trying to tell us, right? What are they basically trying to tell us? And then they say, and then one more thing, they say DE is equal to X. Now, if you look at that, we can, if DE bisects AB into 2 equal halves and does the same thing for AC, that means that DE, we can then from that we can go, therefore DE is parallel to BC, right? And if that's the case, parallel to BC, right? And then we can go, therefore also DE is 2 times BC. So BC is equal to 2 times DE, right? Because if they're parallel, because if DE, so that's your proportionality theorem, basically, guys. So remember, math is interrelated, right? Because that is half of that. So meaning that therefore BC is equal to 2x. Happy with that? Now let's look at the rest of the information that we've been given. They said the perimeter being the distance around the shape is equal to 24. So basically this will have to set up a simultaneous equation because they want us to find the value of X and Y. So the first thing we would then say, if that's the case, that means we also know that if this is, that means in this case AB is equal to 10, because AD is 5, BD is 5, right? So we can then use the perimeter to set up the first equation. So 10 plus we want BC, so we know that BC is going to be 2 times s, so BC is equal to 2x plus y equal to 24. That's equation 1. You guys happy with that? And then also here we can also, just to add on that, we can actually say that in terms of triangle DEA is 90, and this is corresponding angles, because we know that ACB is equal to 90, right? Right angle triangle. So that's basically given. Does that make sense? So you know that you'll have to use your simultaneous. Okay, so now we can set up the next equation. We can use triangle. We will now use, to set up equation number 2, we'll use triangle ADE. But I think also if you want to use the bigger triangle, you can probably use that as well. Okay, so now let's see what we need to do. We can use Pythagoras. Because it's a right angle triangle. So that would be AD, because we know what AD is. So AD equal to AD squared equal to DE squared plus AE squared. All right. And if that's the case, that means now we will have, so this is first step, second step, this would be 5 squared equal to DE is x squared, and plus, if AC is equal to y, that means AE is equal to half y, because 2 halves make a whole squared, which then this simplifies to 25 x squared plus y squared over 4. And also remember guys, this square means that's being squared, this is being squared, and that's how we get y squared over 4. So that this is now equation 2. From equation 2, we can now formulate equation 3, which we can either make y, x, or y the substitute formula. So let's take this and make that, so let's take equation 1 to make equation 2. So therefore y is equal to, and then we're not going to skip any steps. So y is equal to 24 minus 10. This goes over the equal sign, becomes negative. This goes over the equal sign, becomes negative, 2x. So if we simplify this, this gives us y is equal to 14 minus 2x. That becomes our equation number 3. Does that make sense? Leave it at that. Hopefully the lighting is not too bad and you guys can see this. Okay, let me just make sure I'm rearranging it properly. All right. Having said that, so now let's go. What do we do now? The next thing is obviously you sub equation 3 into the untouched equation, which is that we did not manipulate, into equation 2, which brings us to 25. So we left 25 equal to x squared plus y is equal to, so y squared, y is equal to 14 minus 2x, and this is all squared divided by 4. Okay, so then once we have this step, what's the next thing we want to, it's always easier to work with, not to work fractions, so you go multiply by 4, multiply everything out by 4, right? Then gives you 25 is 100 equal to 4x squared, and then we have plus, and then we expand what's inside here. This will therefore cancel that, so you'll have 14 minus, when we expand that, that gives us 14 times 14. What is 14 times? So that gives us 196, and then it's 14 times negative 2a, that gives us minus 28x. Then gives us another minus 28x. When you expand this, remember to FOIL it out, plus 4x squared. Okay, then we go to the next step, simplifying. This is minus 4x squared That will just give us 196, removing the bracket. That will give us minus, and then we have 28 plus 28. That gives us 56x. And then that gives us plus 4x. So we simplify, bring everything to the same side. That will give us 8x squared. We're bringing everything that side. That becomes minus 56x, and that goes over that side, becomes negative, so it becomes 196 minus 100. That gives us 96. So plus 96 equal to that. Okay, so now what we need to check is, can we simplify this further? Can we maybe get our x, our coefficient, to be 1? So we can divide by 8, divide by 8, divide by 8. This divide by 8 will give you x squared. That will give you 7x. And this 96 divided by 8 will give you 12. So then we need to factorize this. So factors that will give us will be x is equal to negative. X is equal to negative 3. That times that gives you negative 7, and when you multiply gives you. So it means when x is equal to 4 or x is equal to 3. Okay, so then we want to make sure we get the corresponding y values. So when x, and then you obviously take it and substitute it into that formula, because you already know the relationship between y and x. So when x is equal to 4, what is y equal to? So let's look at this then. This would be 14 minus 2 times 4. That means this will give us y is equal to, this is 14 minus 8, which will give us what? It will give us 6. So y is equal to 6 when x is equal to 4. Or y equal to 14 minus 2 times 3. That means y is equal to, what is 14 minus 6? 14 minus 6 gives us 8. So then we need to take these values and then double check in there. So now we have to do the check to see if the corresponds. So when y is equal to 3, when x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 6, do we get 24? So it will be 10 plus 2 into, what is x equal to? X is equal to 4 plus y with that equal to 6. What does this give us? 10 plus 8 is 18. 18 plus 6 is 24. So that means these check. I satisfy that. The parameter is 24. And then we do the second check. 10 plus 2 into, when x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 8. That gives us 10 plus 6, 16. 16 plus 4, 24. That means both of this check, and this is how you guys would have needed to approach this question. Please don't forget to leave any questions in the comments below for the young guys. Please be respectful, and yeah, let's see how we can help you guys. And obviously do feel free to share question papers or suggest stuff that you'd like for us to go through. Okay.